Folks, I hope you're doing well, and welcome to episode 15 of WAPTSS, aka We All Practice the Same Stuff. If you don't already know, this is a series where I'll be bringing us all an exercise that we can practice together. And if you want to learn more about the series, I'd highly recommend checking out episode 1. We're all failures, including you. Want an example? Don't be watching this video. See, all failures. Wait, don't click off of the video. So this WAPTSS No Fail February is exactly how it sounds, practicing without failing or mistakes. This was actually inspired by a conversation I had with my wife about teaching English to second language students. So she told me she was teaching one of her students, and her student had trouble pronouncing the word technology. She would always just say technology. And what's interesting is that when she slowed it down and she just took it step by step, technology, she could do all of it perfectly. There was no problems. But as soon as she tried to speed up and say it all together quickly, she would always just go back to saying technology. Sure, you could probably understand what she was trying to say even without 100% correct pronunciation, but if you were learning a second language, wouldn't you want to be more than just understood? And then it hit me. I've been taking a similar approach to my practice as this student was taking to her language learning. I always practice slow-ish. I know I should. But when I really think about it, I think my practice has been closer to technology and not technology. And so our goal with our practice should be more than just being understood. And we should be focused on practicing correctly and also practicing beautifully. So okay, we've established we're all failures. We know that it's better to practice slow, but why do we fail? And so I came up with 3 reasons why I think we fail often. They're all kind of intertwined. They all have their own ideas, but they're all kind of connected. So let's take a look at number 1. We just aren't ready. I think this one's the most basic, the simplest to understand, but if you're playing something and you're making mistakes, then you probably aren't ready to be playing at that speed. Now, this can be challenging because I understand we all want to play fast, and maybe we've played it correctly at that speed one time before or 2 or 3 times before. But if we're not nailing it 100% of the time at that speed, or at least like 99% of the time at that speed, then we need to be slowing down. Which kind of leads me into number 2, which is impatience. So I'm sure we all know this feeling. And like, for example, me right now, I'm learning tremolo, and it's frustrating. It's slow to be practicing, and you want to be improving more and faster than you are. But we just need to take a step back and realize that things take time. And when we end up being impatient and trying to push through something and maybe tell ourselves this is where we should be, then we're going to make it worse off in the long run. And finally, number 3, inconsistencies. So to go back to my tremolo as an example, after I had this idea of we'll call it the technology phenomenon, I kind of reevaluated my tremolo and how I was playing, and I saw that I had inconsistencies. And I think fast passages especially, or fast techniques especially, are very easy just to gloss over, to think, it's not a big deal if I miss a couple notes. If 1 or 2 things aren't exactly correct, it's okay. Everything else is pretty close. And so after spending hours and hours and hours practicing tremolo, I got frustrated because I thought, man, why does this still sound bad? And so that I thought about it, and these inconsistencies that I'm practicing are leading to a lack of progression. So what kind of inconsistencies am I talking about? So things like, for example, your finger placement on the fretboard. Sometimes I had my fingers on the very tip holding down the string, but sometimes it was on the pad of the finger. Another thing would be my placement on my right hand. So sometimes I would get my fingers planted before I played, but sometimes I wouldn't. Third was my right hand tension. So sometimes it was very loose, which was nice, but sometimes it got kind of tight, especially as it got faster. And so these kind of things I need to be focusing on when I'm practicing, but also practicing them slowly so that it's perfect every time. And so these kind of little things, if you're practicing slow-ish, but getting these small inconsistencies, these small mistakes, as you go faster and faster, they're not going to magically go away. They're probably going to get accented and sound even worse, and it's just going to lead to more frustration. And so then when I took a look at some videos of some great guitar performers, or even thought of just like some child prodigies or something like that, and I saw them play, I thought, okay, that must be how they're practicing. If they're able to play a full song perfectly, just beautifully, I'm sure that's every time or close to every time. And the only way that can be achieved is by slow, dedicated practice with no mistakes. And we hear it all the time, but if you practice with mistakes, then you're going to perform with mistakes. And these people who are playing beautifully, these long, beautiful pieces with no mistakes, it's because they practiced with no mistakes. So this is my challenge for us this month in No Fail February, that we would really consider our practice, really focus, really make sure that we're playing correctly with no mistakes. We're focused on what our hands are doing, and that we don't get frustrated or impatient, and we just let the process take care of itself. So do you think I missed anything? Is there any other reasons why you think we fail? If so, let me know in the comments below. If you're enjoying the series and haven't already, I'd highly recommend checking out the Discord. We've got a good group of 3 or 4 people right now who are posting their practice log, which is pretty fun to be a part of. And that's going to be everything for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay safe and happy practicing.